Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and in today's video, we'll be taking a look at the brand new changes happening with Heirloom gear. Blizzard decided something weird and in a way controversial with this new expansion. Even though the questing experience should be far quicker, they decided to somehow nerf Heirloom gear. Blizzard mentioned that Heirloom gear will no longer give you extra experience, which is probably the biggest reason why most of us bought them. However, Blizzard still mentioned that you should still be able to level faster than how you currently can in BFA with heirlooms, with the extra 100% XP bonus, with all the extra consumables, so your leveling experience in Shadowlands should be better. Instead, Blizzard wanted to tag on interesting tier set bonuses to heirlooms to make leveling interesting in different ways. I want to take a look at the heirloom bonuses and offer some of my opinions, thoughts, and maybe even suggestions to Blizzard after taking a look at some of these sets. I think a lot of us are expecting for Shadowlands to come back swinging with tier sets, and in a way Blizzard is kinda sorta starting that. There hasn't been a hardcore confirmation that tier sets are back in this expansion, but heirlooms are getting their own tier sets, going as far as to give you 4 different bonuses if you wear up to 6 pieces of heirloom gear on your character. This is actually possible to achieve right now even if you don't do the fishing derby with the rings. Take a look at some of these bonuses. You have a variety of them, 2 of them having to deal with rested XP. With the 2 set, rested experience consumed is reduced by 30%. With a 3 set, increases your out-of-combat regeneration in the outdoors, normal dungeons, and battlegrounds. The 5 set, gaining a level triggers burst of knowledge, dealing a bunch of holy damage to nearby enemies and granting you 40% of a stat for 2 minutes, prolonged by 2 minutes for every enemy that you kill afterwards. The final bonus for wearing 6 pieces of heirloom gear is actually a 2-piece bonus just as an extra. So I guess it would take that 30% consumption reduction to 60% consumption reduction of your rested experience. That means with all this extra rested XP, you can quest longer and kill more mobs before having to re-put the character inside of an inn and then grow that rested XP over time. I kind of like the idea for the 3 set bonus. As you are questing out in the world, you don't really want to be sitting down to eat food or regen mana, and this isn't classic World of Warcraft, so you never really had to do that, but it does give you a little bit more longevity to just go from one mob to the next, stopping the few extra globals of having to heal yourself, or maybe stopping you from, well, stopping combat. I think in dungeons when you're questing, it's going to be quite valuable. There's going to be less time for you to sit down to drink water if you're out of mana, or less time for you to ask mage for food or mana in order to continue on into the next boss room and the next trash bag. So this one makes sense, but it's just a 3 set bonus. It wouldn't be the biggest one, obviously. The 5-piece bonus is actually quite interesting. Every time your character dings, there is some sort of this light around your character. So it's interesting how Blizzard decided to add the whole mechanic of when you have this XP or level up light happen, it also now does holy damage to enemies, which I think is unique. But also the extra stats that it provides you, the 40% of intellect, agility, or strength will allow your character to do more damage and be more effective. Tank better. And as you're doing dungeons, as you're out in the world grinding, I think this could enforce players to want to grind mobs and just kind of go from one mob to the next, getting more XP with this way, but also continuing your power growth with your character. I wonder with this bonus if there's going to be a cap, like maybe a maximum of 8 minutes of this buff to be up, so maybe there'll be a limit on how far you can stack, or can you start this buff and then continue stacking it for a very long while. The first buff for the 2 set bonus and the 6 set bonus, however, are kind of plain, I'd say. They are not actually what I would want out of my heirloom gear. My biggest issue with the rested bonus XP, which I understand why Blizzard would do it, that one would make sense. You don't really want to give players directly a extra percentage increase of experience. So rested bonus would be the way for your characters, especially if you have a bunch of them, to kind of sit there and accumulate rested experience as you level them one at a time, and you can even take turns. You level this character for a little bit in BC, and you can level your next guy like a druid in Mists of Pandaria, since in Shadowlands you'll also be able to go to different expansions and level through those before you have to level through Shadowlands. So I guess it will offer you a lot of variety. However, I feel like this will create a weird leveling meta. So you have these bonuses that give you extra rested experience for essentially not playing a character. I feel like rested experience gets very much overlooked by players. Most of us are looking for extra bonuses right now, whether it be potions from, let's say, Warfronts that give you 10% more XP, or rings or gems that are 5%. The rested experience buffs the amount of experience you gain from slaying monsters by a ton. You're gonna end up killing a bunch of things, and doubling the amount of XP from each one of those mobs is huge. So of course you can play the game with all your heirlooms as you normally would, but if you were someone to min-max the amount of gain for the time spent playing the character, the best idea would actually be to park your character. I'm afraid with this double rested XP bonus, which is quite massive, and the fact that you'll be able to maintain this bonus for 60% longer is going to create a meta where people will first make the character with all the new Shadowlands customizations. Then they'll go through as far as quests as they need to park their character inside of an inn. Whether it is Brill, whether it is Goldshire, whether it is any of the Worgen starting zones, which actually take quite a long time. So once you park your character, you'll kind of just leave them there. Maybe you'll log on your main or an alt and buy more potions, buy more consumables, and get this character ready to level as soon as possible. And as soon as Shadowlands starts, you should be in your heirloom gear, head to toe, ready to go, whether you are a tank or a healer or a DPS, maybe trying to slam some dungeons, or simply just trying to level through zones as quickly as humanly possible. The 2 of the 3 bonuses actually do get you to play the game more. Being able to chain mobs is going to be nice with a 5-piece bonus, and the 3-piece bonus will allow you to stay out in the open world or going from dungeon to dungeon much faster. So there's actually quite a lot you will be able to do. But the double increase on that 30% slower reduction of the rested XP, I feel like is going to be too lucrative for a lot of players. And the rested XP could be great for players that don't really have a lot of free time. Let's say you'll just park a bunch of characters, and let's say you have 2 hours a day to play the game. So the first day you might play your druid, as I said earlier, through Mr. Pandaria zones. You'll play a new class in a new environment, and you'll just enjoy your time, gain a hell of a lot of XP. Next day you might play your warlock through Warlords of Draenor. New class, new environment, gain a lot of XP through the rested bonus, and then when you're done, park the character back in an inn. Do the same thing for your mage through Wrath of the Lich King, maybe a warrior through Legion, and rinse and repeat until all your characters are finished. There are actually a lot of ways for you to be able to min-max the amount of XP gained for the littlest amount of time. And I'm someone who likes to find those little, I won't call them exploits, but those little tricks you can do. Legion had it, and the current version of BFA actually has it by doing party sync. If you have one dummy account or trial account, you can just party sync with them and do like the Stormwind or the Orgrimmar story all over again once a day. And it gives you so much experience. You play for 15 minutes and you gain the most amount of experience. People like to kind of optimize the fun out of the game, but they also like to optimize the amount of XP you gain and to be able to get the most return for the smallest amount of time. So I think if anything, Blizzard should maybe keep the 2-piece bonus for extra rested XP on the piece of gear. 30% is going to be nice, but I think most of the gear and most of the tier sub bonuses should get you to want to play the game more rather than less. We should be excited to get out and do another quest and kill another mob, or loot another treasure chest and kill another rare. Not be excited to park our characters for the next couple days inside of Goldshire Inn while the rested XP bonuses accumulate over time. So maybe for the 2-piece bonus they can keep it as it is, but for the 4-piece bonus, yeah, I think something creative would be cool. Essentially, I think Blizzard might end up going back to just a 5% XP increase. So when you have all 5% XP, you have the ability to change stats from mob to mob, you have extra mana, you have extra health to go over time, and you will be able to use some of that rested XP, but most of the bonuses will get you to want to play the game and go to the next objective and just kind of continue chaining quests over and over and over again. Outside of what they could do instead of just a flat percentage increase, because it seems that Blizzard is trying to walk away from those types of bonuses, I don't really know what else they could do. I think maybe cooldown reduction on a lot of your abilities, like let's say Ineffable Truth or something along those lines. Your massive CDs have a shorter CD, so you can chain from mobs to mobs to mobs a lot more effective. This could disbalance the dungeon flow. This could disbalance the ability for some players to compete with others in the damage they might be able to do in PvP, since heirlooms can be used in PvP. But I feel like something like this would be at least more creative and more interesting rather than just flat, simple bonuses. Anyway guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. Let me know what you think about heirlooms, and I'll see all of you in the next one.